wasn't quick enough.
Oh my God, that was so loud.
It was, and it like wasn't quick. I was like, oh, not quick enough.
Oh man, today we're gonna blow your minds. I have an insane question to ask Judy at the
Oh
end of
God.
this, based on a recent reel she posted.
Uh-oh. Which one?
But we're not going to talk about that first. First, we're going to talk about, and remember, we don't prepare for these, so Judy doesn't even know. We told each other after the last one we were going to come up with some things to ask each other. Judy may or may not have remembered that, but I did write something down.
I did.
So stick around till the end if you want to see Judy in the hot seat over a recent reel she posted that she doesn't even know which one we're going to talk about. The other thing that we were starting to talk about, and then I was like, we have to just go live. This is what people want to see. Um, is I said, I think the biggest thing that's been coming back to me over and over again is the learning never stops.
Mhm.
And it's so easy to feel like I'm an expert at what I do. And so, like, I'm going to teach other people. Yes, and
How are you going to continue teaching other people? Because I think a lot of that too is that you learn and you evolve, and then you become like you reach new levels. So, in order to reach new levels, what do you have to do? You have to continue learning, right? Like the reason why, and I don't know, it's a crazy stat, right? Like how many didn't Steph Curry like shoot 100 threes like every day for like all of his life, and like all you've seen is like the almost 600, you know, three pointers that he's done in his career. But like that didn't stop. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to
right.
stop practicing and learning and things like that. So for sure. I mean, I totally agree.
Well, and I think I can hear you also in my mind saying learning means nothing without.
It's funny. That's what I was gonna say. Uh, so yes, absolutely. So
I'm gonna grab
knowledge, yeah. And you guys might know this quote. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't know this quote. But knowledge isn't power. It's execution. Like it can be power if you use it. It's certainly powerful. But if you're walking around with all this knowledge, and by the way, a lot of people do. There are a lot of intelligent people that we meet, potential clients that we come to and meet, that honestly just like we don't end up working with them because they're not willing to do the part that people aren't willing to do, which is execute. But you know why people aren't willing to execute, Greta?
Why?
Because they're going to fail, and they don't want to fail.
No, you're not wrong on that.
Like who likes failing? Nobody likes failing. Like it's not fun. It's not super fun. But as long as what the quote is, like you're failing forward or whatever that is, but if you're learning from it and you're growing, like
It's like an
how can
endless
you,
cycle.
right, exactly. And if you're watching this and you're a coach or a mentor, you provide some service of some sort, if you're not continuously educating yourself and executing on it, how are you helping other people? How are you making an impact?
Yeah, and I think it was interesting. We had a call yesterday with one of our clients, and we always get testimonials at certain points. So if you're not utilizing your touch bases with your clients to get testimonials, and we're not like give us a testimonial, we're actually asking them true questions of like, what is the feedback you have for us, and like they turn into testimonials because the feedback is positive. But the reality is you should be checking in with your clients on how things are going. And then a testimonial naturally comes from that. Okay, that was a complete aside. Anyways, we were talking to him yesterday, and the one thing that he said, I shouldn't say the one thing, there were so many things he said that really struck a chord, was that he could tell how committed we were to consistently learning. This wasn't just like oh, we'll try this once type of thing. And we're not ashamed to say we're learning. Like, I mean, I'm almost always reading some new book or taking some new training, and Judy is always listening to some new podcast or YouTube video or taking a training, which is new in her world. But
They're audio, they're on selling or psychology. I'm all about them.
You're reading a book. And so I went and got a book because it's unfiltered and I'm allowed to, but I'm rereading 100 Million Leads just because how can you not read it? And every time I read a book or listen to a book, it always is like new nuggets stick out. And so it's funny because this week I've been thinking a lot on learning and the role of learning in my own journey as an entrepreneur and shifting it from I'm not enough to I will never have enough information. Like I always have to be learning. But also Alex talks about how his ego got in the way early on. And so it was easy to be like, well, I know what I'm doing and what I'm doing is working. And so he basically saw what other people were doing in the space and was like, oh, well, that wouldn't work for me because, and he's like, that was my ego protecting me. And he had a quote, if someone makes more money than you, they are better at the game of business in some way. Quiet the ego, look for the lesson. And I was like, ooh, I like got chills.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Right?
So look for the lesson. Yes. Okay. I love that. Love that. Love that. Um, so then, Greta, why do you think people stop learning? Like you said, like he thought like, oh, Alex thought like, I know this better, or like this is like what I know. Like they're masters in their craft, probably. Maybe they've made some money. Like they've sold their offer, they've made some money. You know, they have clients. So what would make somebody want to stop educating themselves?
I don't think it's a conscious choice. I should also say this was early in his journey. He now is
Obviously,
he always is looking for a lesson. Obviously, we love Alex.
Yeah.
Why would people stop? I think, first of all, I don't think it's a conscious decision. I also think the busier we get, it can feel harder to carve out the time to do the learning. But the reality is in order to stay ahead of curves, we have to be continually evolving, listening, learning, taking the lessons. So I think a lot of times it's a timepiece. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but it's a freaking commitment for me to make time to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's I mean, I love it's funny because I love educating myself, but I love educating myself on things that I know and just like ooh, I didn't hear it that way. That one time, like even just that little bit of quote. But I think for me is that they don't get a reward from what they've learned right away. And so they just keep learning. And they're like they either do just like there are people that like you have one person over here that's like, I'm just gonna keep learning because I haven't gotten the reward. But what they don't know is they haven't gotten the reward because they haven't executed it enough
Consistently.
times to get the reward from that. And then the other person is like you said, I think it's a subconscious thing where they're just like super comfortable. Like I like my clients or like but what they don't know is because they stopped learning, they didn't know there was another level to get to. And if they got outside of their comfort zone, then they would see what was possible. Like, oh, like this is super comfortable, but I didn't know that for the same thing I could charge this, or if I just reached out to this demographic, they need my knowledge too, or if I decided to go group coaching instead of one-on-one, this is how I could impact more lives. And so I think I mean, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but like
This brings up a huge point too, though, of like, and I mean, we've kind of touched on it because it's about taking action, but there is such a thing as information overload.
yes.
And so obviously taking action helps to combat that. But for example, if you're learning a million different social media strategies and you're trying a new one out each week, probably not gonna be like, oh, that one was worth learning, right? So, I mean, I think that the two of us do a fairly good job of not getting to a place of information overload. So you kind of alluded to it just now, but what's something you do to not have that be the case?
Yeah. So as soon as I learn something or I get like inspiration from something that I've learned, I go and I take action. So I go and I create a social media post, or I go and I create, I go and I share it with my team. or I go and I basically take it and I'm like, I'm going to use this in some way, shape, or form. And I start testing it and really start saying, like, ooh, like, what if we talked about that? Or what if, and like Greta, you said, it's not, I think it's also like not going flip flopping. And that's where for us, I believe like is super easy because we get to talk to each other every day. So we hold ourselves accountable to, hey, what was that you went to yesterday? Or like, how was your event? Okay, like what can we learn? Like what are we gonna do now? Like what are we gonna apply now that we've done this event?
Yeah.
Or things like that. And so we hold each other accountable in that way, but also we are in coaching programs ourselves. And so it's a lot easier. Like, you don't want to go to your next coaching or mentorship call and be like, I didn't do that thing I said I was going to do.
Yeah. I think for us too, we do a really good job of consuming a lot of content that's on the same topic and we stay in our lane. So it's easy as an entrepreneur to feel like you have to get really good at everything. But the reality is you should be hiring experts for the things that don't naturally excite you, or that it would take a lot for your learning curve to get you to a place where you would make money. And then really like double down on the things you actually think you're an expert on, because like, I mean, you're like a sales genius. Obviously, I'm your business partner, so I'm going to say that, but I do believe it. But like 90% of what you consume is sales based. And like, I love marketing and tech and those type of things. But like, if you look at all my recent course purchases, or you look at what I'm currently reading, I'm just continuing to fine tune the thing that I actually know the most about, which seems counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm not going to invest. And I think there are times where I have to gut check myself. Like, it's not my job to become an expert in how to structure our clients' slide decks. It could be, I could get sucked into that hole,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also just going to rely on you to figure those pieces out.
Right, exactly. And that's where it comes into, and a lot of people say this, Alex says this, but um, repetition is key, right? You need to build the muscle. You need to build the muscle. Inconsistent execution creates inconsistent outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you can't create momentum in that like knowledge, like you said, we're hiring, we're even hiring and outsourcing experts and things that we don't
100%.
even like. For Notion, for example, like we know Notion very well, but that isn't the best use of our time. What is going to produce the best ROI? If you know, and this is where Greta, you're really good at with the data, you know our numbers so like to, I don't know, the every dollar for sure of, hey Judy, you could go and build this entire Notion database, but if we paid this expert, how many clients, how many slide decks could you create, how many webinar scripts could you create, if and how much money would we generate if
Yeah.
like you were doing that? Like no, we're not going to have you do that. So also knowing the capacity, and like Greta, like knowing the numbers, knowing the ROI of the knowledge.
And I think, again, like that came out of our conversation yesterday with our client too, because he's been able to, launch his coaching to a point where the only thing he had to focus on was his pitch and his offer.
Yeah.
And we took care of the rest. And he was like, never in my wildest dreams would I have even thought that there were things that I had, like, he's like, I wouldn't have even thought that I needed those things, but you guys just know because you're experts. Mm-hmm. And so it also is like the learning never stops, has to be concentrated effort.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to like be continuously why another thing why education is great is because when you get yourselves out there, and by the way, online education and in-person education is both beneficial. We try to go to one live event at least a year. When you're getting in rooms and around those people, right? You'll be able to hear what other people are doing. That's also gaining knowledge and connecting with other people where you're like, what? That's something that's possible. I had no idea that was even possible for a business like mine. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And like what you said, like he had no idea even all the other things that we did, and you don't know what you need until you get out there.
Right. And he could have spent 6 months educating himself on that. But instead, he spent 6 months educating himself on how to create, his perfect pitch with your help. I mean, you guided him in what to focus
What
on.
a pitch is. Yeah, like people that don't know, don't even know what a webinar is or a masterclass is. What's that?
Yeah. But he didn't have to study and learn how to fill that room. He didn't have to study and learn how to do the automations and the tech pieces. He didn't have to study and learn, how to structure his social media content to get the most bang for his buck out of the people who were coming. He probably will start to learn those things, but I think there's something to be said about concentrated efforts in learning.
Exactly. And I love that you keep saying concentrated efforts, like definitely keying in on, like Greta said, I'm not going to go figure out like how to work Kairos or go high level. Like, I am aware of what these tools and resources can do for me, but in our company and our team, and I appreciate them so much. However, I'm not going to go spend my time educating myself on those things, to your point. Like, that's not the best use of my time.
Yeah. Okay. So you recently posted a reel.
Okay.
Where you went and bought popcorn.
Oh, yeah. I love popcorn. I'm almost done with both bags.
Both bags? Wasn't that just yesterday?
Well, I know I bought them on Sunday.
Oh, okay. So you've had them for 2 days.
A couple days ago. So one
Tuesday.
half bag per day.
You started your reel with, I'll tell you what I think at the end. And then you went into the shopping. So you started with the hook, did the rest, and then came back to your review. Why did you do that?
To get people to only watch till the end. So you would watch till the end. But I mean, to create anticipation, right? Of, hey, what's to come? People love that stuff. I mean, think about it, like every movie, it's like a movie trailer. Like everybody loves, ooh, I like that. Like, do I want to watch that movie? Like, and so, yeah, I mean, entertaining. I like to create the content that I like to watch because
I liked your short girl problems in the middle too. I was like, and that wasn't even planned. That was just real life. Totally, you can't reach the top shelf.
Top shelf. Like, I should have. What would have been more funny is like if I went and got like a stool, and they were like, "Why is she carrying this stool around the store?" Because I can't reach the top shelf. I mean, seriously. But yeah, and creating it entertaining. And by the way, if you guys haven't used the edits app from Instagram, it's a game changer. It's so easy to use. Like, if you guys think like CapCut who, like if you think like, it's so easy to use.
Really?
Yeah,
more than CapCut.
Yeah, I edited that reel in like, I don't know, 10 minutes max, and like you saw how many clips there were. Like, super easy.
Interesting. I wonder if people are going to start, are there templates in there like there are for CapCut?
Probably. It is easy to get inspiration. I haven't tried to use it as a template, anything as a template, but like you can watch reels from there and even put notes like, hey, I want to create this in the future and I should like record myself. Put notes in there.
Interesting. Anyways,
yeah.
We're like super engaging today. It's mostly because I'm in a training currently and my brain's like a little bit half there and half here.
Yeah, and she kind of wants to go back to the training.
I do.
And I got a slide deck to finish too. I have a question for you. No, I didn't have a question for you.
I'm gonna just wait anxiously for next week because you're probably gonna.
Next week. Yes. Yeah, super excited for these unfiltered episodes. Love doing them. And I feel like every time these episodes, I think, Greta, are an execution of the knowledge we've learned. Even sharing it with other people.
For sure.
Is definitely the execution. So.
And if you were listening in and you thought to yourself, man, I don't want to have to learn all those things that they're talking about. Definitely hit us up, bringingsimplicity.com. We have a funnel strategy call. I think we renamed it something else. Just figure out how to talk to us on there. And so that you can stay in your zone of genius in terms of increasing your knowledge base in the areas that matter and that are going to move the needle the most. We would love to chat with you, whether it's ads, launches, webinars, pitches. We could just talk for hours with you, probably.
Probably. Yeah. Maybe.
All right. Happy Tuesday. I'm off to go take more trainings.
Okay, I'm off to finish, semi-finish the deck.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.